Hey guys.
Hey guys, that was
Did
our interview with Gertie. We got Gertified. Do you feel it?
we got gratified. Like I just feel my skin glowing. I feel opportunities coming to me.
Hmm.
I feel the positivity in everything because Gertie is just such a darling and she is just such a beam of light. Just talking to her for a few minutes, like, uh, take me back to 30 minutes ago. But we wanted to get back on and obviously, sorry, talk about Married to Medicine reunion,
Ooh,
aka we all jumped quad.
listen, that was so rough. The ladies looked beautiful. I want to say that first. Like, it's one thing to see the pictures, but just seeing them all sitting up there together, they just look so good. And now we're finally seeing Quad again. You know, so I really want to get into the whole thing with Phaedra and Quad.
Yeah, that's the
How
first
did,
one.
yeah, that's the first point. Like, how did you feel that moment? Like when Andy asked, why Phaedra kind of switched out with the whole flight thing, and then she explained, she didn't want to be attached to a sinking ship, to the Titanic. How did you feel about that little moment? Did you think that was a intense dig? Do you think that Phaedra was justified for feeling how she felt?
I understand that she didn't want to alienate herself and attach herself and have alliances because she's new to the group, you
Right.
know? However, wording it like the Titanic, if and I'm going to say this is a controversial take because we loved Phaedra when she first got on Married to Medicine. She was giving us all this and all that, but she disappeared within the season. But she was giving us everything in Traders, so we kind of just like let that go.
Mm.
If she was not on Traders, I would feel a way about Phaedra, especially what happened with Quad, because I understand, wanting to come in and not having an alliance with someone who everyone is on the outs with, but to say I didn't want to attach myself to the Titanic, what do you mean? Because you have a worse reputation than Quad. A lot of people are so, Quad does this, Quad does that, but you won't even talk about why you got kicked off Atlanta. How Real Housewives. So that was just that's especially as a friend, you called yourself a friend.
Yeah.
So that was just very but it was Phaedra like because
That's
she got kicked
Phaedra.
off that's Phaedra. That's how
She's
she
gonna make her
acted on
coin.
Housewives.
She's gonna make her
She's there for
coin.
the she might not say it like Quad, and a lot of people might not say it straight up like Quad, but Phaedra is there for the check. And while I understand her, she should have just worded it differently. How did you feel? Because these
I
are two of
agree.
your faves.
That's exactly how I felt. How you felt. It was like a sense of, damn. I wish she didn't word it like that. I wish she would have just said, I was coming in the group. I was new, and I didn't want to anybody to hate me. I wanted to come in fresh. I wanted to have a fresh relationship with all the ladies, and I didn't want that extra baggage. I wish she would have said it like that. But when you come in and then Quad is sitting next to her, which doesn't make it better. I'm like, if she was across on the other side, I could see that. But like, damn, it was just bold. And I don't like how it's going. I don't like that this is carrying on off the show too, because Quad is on TGIF now. And
What is TGIF? Let me know. Like, is
TGIF
that a
is
Fox
is
Soul or
that's
is
Fox
it?
Soul. That's the show with Claudia Jordan. It was Funky Dineva, but now Funky Dineva
Mm,
left, so it's in Reynolds. But Quad goes on there to host every now and then. So she was talking about the situation, and she, talked about how Candy had Phaedra in the done like locked off the show for a good period of time too, and she brought up that, and then Phaedra told her side too when she was on her interview. I want to say with People or something else. But she had a little separate interview I seen on Instagram scrolling down. And Phaedra also talked about how she like pretty much what she said. She felt like she didn't want to be like attached to all the drama and bullshit when you're just coming on the show and you're building a relationship with all these ladies. So it's like for me, it's two aunties that I don't want to see fight. Like I love both of my aunties equally. And I just
right.
want the best for them. And I just want to stay out of it because I want to stay in the child's place.
I agree. It was hard to Watch also another thing that Quad mentioned, which we saw kind of play out on camera, was that Quad is the connecting person who brought her
Yeah.
on the show because you're already not a doctor's wife. So how do we know you? Quad was the person, the missing link, and they were the freaking frack for like two, or when Quad did get there, they were the freaking frack until it was time to go on that trip and kick off the trip.
Yeah.
They did mention though that Phaedra had heard that Quad was running her mouth about Phaedra. So that could have also contributed to it.
Hmm.
So I could say that it's not just, wanting to not pick a side. It's also, I heard that Quad was talking trash about me,
And Quad
but
didn't
it's,
necessarily
yeah,
deny it.
because I think we all know it. That
Yeah.
part was probably true.
Oh, it's true. And Dr. Heavenly too. But Dr. Heavenly, she's gonna tell it. She
Dr. Heavenly
already
told
she
it.
been said it. That
Right.
she was running her mouth and talking shit. I mean, so everybody knows about that. So, and do you remember Quad also brought Phaedra on the show like a while ago?
The
Like I
first
want to
time that we
say
saw
like
her on Married to
the
Medicine.
first time was like maybe second or third season, maybe a little bit like in the middle or so, when she asked Phaedra for that legal advice that time. So
Yeah,
we seen her there. So it's like I do think there should be some form of loyalty to Quad. Although I do understand what she's saying, is she's just I feel like Phaedra is put in a very tough position, and I kind of see and understand both sides. And like I said, I wish she would have worded that differently.
I agree.
Yeah. The other thing that I want to address is Dr. Simone jumping in and
Mm.
everything. That was
Mm-mm.
next on my list. I did not care for that at all. And I have so much love for Simone. So this is very disappointing for me. Like that I had to make her my LVP. That I have like I don't really like her this season.
No,
She's been showing her ass.
yeah, and I'm just waiting for you to, not only did she jump into everything, but waiting for you to bring up what she did.
Oh yeah, how she brought up the whole niece situation. I feel like if you want to bring up a time that you were there for her, you could have just said, when you were dealing with that tragedy, you didn't have to necessarily specify what happened. So
But
that's
it was
yeah,
just like, it was that. I agree with that. But it
yeah.
was also, Quad is breaking down, she's calling your name. This is supposed to
Mhm.
be you, someone that you're talking about how good of a friend you are to, right? If you tell me Kaya, I'm just gonna shut up. I'm gonna eat it. Or I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna rephrase what I'm about to say. I'm not gonna say when your niece drowned in your pool after I'm seeing you literally trying to stop me from saying something. Are you on drugs? Like, have you lost your fucking mind?
She
It's just
literally was doing the Nicki Minaj whispering at a certain point, and I was like, oh my gosh.
right. That's that's not funny, but I
It
definitely
just
heard
got
it
intense. No, it just got intense. We're
because it
not
was
laughing
the
at
room
yeah.
was just so quiet and she was just speaking on it and
Yeah.
everyone is like,
It's like
this
she
was
had a mic and she
unnecessary
was like
because she was
talking into the
determined
mic.
to say it
And if she continues to lie, I'm gonna talk. I'm like, ooh, girl, you pissing me off.
bad.
Like you making me so mad. She did. She really pissed me off bad.
And
Like
then go ahead.
I understand not wanting to be lied on. I do think that Quad has trouble taking ownership with certain things. I do think that she struggles with that, as all the ladies struggle with their own like little things. But she did address, her relationship with Toya. She did apologize. She made amends with Toya. How long that's gonna last, I don't know, but she did it. So, we are seeing her take accountability for certain things. And I think Dr. Simone wants the same thing, which I understand. I do think that there may have been times where she thought that her and Quad's friendship was very strong. You remember earlier on in the seasons when Simone's father passed away, and we seen Quad,
Quad was knocking door to door with her, so that was kind of
yeah,
weird to me that
yeah, it was a whole thing. So I do see how Dr. Simone seeing them is so close. And then throughout the years, it's kind of like they grew apart. Quad started attaching herself to Sister Circle.
Yep.
And I remember when she said those were her friends. So I think for Simone, she is still holding on to that. And she does not, it's like she's been scarred from it in a sense. And she does not want to, ugh, she doesn't feel like there will ever be a genuine, authentic relationship with Quad. Because when you do that and you say you're cool, and then like the next season you go and you just kind of like detach, it's hard. It's hard for anybody, to say that's my friend. And then you say things like, I'm just here for my check. I don't really give a fuck about y'all. So it's like it's very difficult, and I understand her side. Like I said, these ladies just need to word some shit differently.
I
I
totally
don't
agree.
think she should have brought that up, and I think there was a better way that she could have said that.
It's like one thing to even mention it, but
Yeah,
she was just so determined and then doubling down on it. And she's like,
right.
no, I want to get this out. And I'm like, you could have picked anything in the world, but if you're going to go there, be smart with your words because you are a
Please.
doctor. You are the most, this whole cast is the most well-spoken cast on Bravo, so you know that you shouldn't go certain places with people. Another thing that I did not like, that they are trying to pin. I understand. I agree. Quad has these problems, and Quad ain't shit. Okay, cool. Everybody hate Quad Day, but also when it came down to Dr. Jackie and bring up that whole situation,
Yes. Hmm.
I, I'm going because I had a lot to say when it happened at first, and I was going to wait till the reunion to see. I still stand by what I said when I was like, that apology was not for me personally, because when it was brought up, unless let me, we have two more parts to go. We have two more parts to go. But this whole segment about when it was brought up was more of how Jackie received it, how everyone was there for her, how, some people weren't there for her, but in no way did she offer any more clarification or apologize. Did she apologize again? Because I didn't hear.
No, I don't think not that I remember. I think you're saying like they didn't hold her accountable for what
I
she
didn't
said, and the main focus was on like how she felt
how
about
she
the
felt.
situation. Yes, I do
Exactly.
agree with that. Yeah, I do
I'm
agree
just
with that.
waiting on, yes, this the situation came about, but you have to understand, why did so many people take issue with that? Why did you have to, really refocus and feel all the ways that you felt and offer an apology to the people that you offended and say what you have learned so far? That whole time
Yeah.
was just her crying and saying who was there for her and who wasn't there for her and how they thought Quad did it. And I could understand 100%. Like at first, that was even the joke. Oh, Quad sent that in for Quad. The reality of it is, you guys, if you're not in like the fan page or fan podcast or online community, or you don't even have to be in that community, you could literally just be a person with a social media account who remembers. It could have been someone who took issue with that when she said
I
it
feel like it
and
was
brought it up.
Buffy. I feel like it was Buffy. Buffy has more of a reason to do it than Quad. Why would Quad be beefing with Dr. J? Like that whole thing just didn't make any sense. And regardless of if she pulled it or not, you should be held accountable. You said it. Quad didn't tell you to say it. Quad didn't edit the clip to make it say one thing. You said it.
Yeah,
That was
it's
the
out
whole
there.
clip. It's out there. So, that's what I think it should be about, not who put it out. Like, why is the focus so much on who put it out?
But you know what? I do think that it was important for us to see that at least right now, Quad's apologies are genuine because she took
Yeah,
Dr. Jackie to the side and was like, "You really think that I would do that? Like for real, for real? Like between me and you?"
right.
That was like so,
And I
not
hope
beautiful
I
to
hope they
see, but it
talked
was good.
also off of camera because I feel like a lot of the ladies say that Quad only does stuff like this when the camera's on, when the mic is on. So, like I said, I'm not there. I'm not too sure,
Mhm.
So it's like I have to be fair on
Yeah.
all sides, but I do feel like just take it easy. Like, golly, how Toya handled Quad. to me, Toya and Quad had the best like back and forth. It
Yeah,
was the most successful.
yeah, and I
And
never thought that that would happen.
they're not even in a good place. But when it comes to Simone, she just starts yelling, she starts getting loud. It's like, ooh, girl.
It's also like, where is this coming from, dude? I don't know. I understand, like, okay, how you feel, but it's like all the smoke was on Quad, who, by the way, wasn't there like half of the season, and also has
Right.
been through multiple unspeakable things, going through hell in real life. So I don't know.
I also
But
heard that Cecil went over to Carlos King and said how much he missed Tammy. I thought that was real crazy.
yeah, that was crazy.
I thought that was real crazy. And me personally, that would be my concern right now. And that's not even any shade, but that would be my concern right now because I wish she would.
You
And I
miss
love
her?
Cecil. And I want to say that too. I want to make that clear. I didn't mean to do that, Cecil,
I
but
think
it's
that
just
we love
her.
all the
Yeah.
husbands. Like I even as much as we, sometimes disagree with Toya, I am obsessed with Dr. Eugene. Like I want a husband
Yes.
exactly like Dr. Eugene. Like we love the husbands, but at the same time, just like Jackie's husband, when that situation happened, you have to speak on it. With Cecil, he went to do an
Yeah.
interview. People are going to speak on it. That's something that
That's
I would
just
not
what it
want my
is.
husband to
I
say,
wouldn't have said it
especially
like
after
that,
we
but
had to,
boy.
yeah, especially when we had to like fix our marriage at a reunion. Like that's very
And
odd.
what she thanks everybody for playing a part because she makes it clear every season. If it wasn't for that reunion where they was dressed like Grease characters,
They would be what?
they would be divorced
Mm.
with a hard D.
Child,
So child, that's Married to
child.
Medicine. They need to do a lot better. The next season, Heavenly said that they all got their contracts and signed them. Quad said she has not signed hers yet. So I
Quad,
don't know what that means.
please sign it. Please sign it
But
because
they gotta stop playing on her top too. You know, they have to acknowledge that Quad is a valuable part of the show, and that's just it. And Quad has to become a team player. That's
yeah,
just what
it's
it
work on
is.
both ends. Like you got to
I'm
show
holding
up to set.
everybody accountable,
Yeah, yeah.
and those are my aunties. I love them.
We love them dearly, and that's why it hurts so bad when they are
Mhm.
fighting. It hurts so bad when we had to disagree with one of them. But yeah, that was Married to Medicine. Let's just get into Vanderpump Rules for a little bit. This is it's picking up, y'all. I know that some people had some things to say about this season. It's of a Tom redemption arc. It still very much is a Sandoval redemption arc, but uh, it's getting weird. A lot of things come to light, and Sheena just shows truly who Sheena is. This whole episode, Sheena was in tears, literally, and I exaggerate a lot. She was in tears. She was bawling and crawling and sobbing and bobbing about her friendship with Tom Sandoval, the loss of it, the lack of it. And she wanted Katie and Ariana to sympathize after she had that yoga session with Sandoval. Meanwhile, Sandoval and Brock had their little uh I don't know, like one-on-one where they talked about some things and got off their chest because Sandoval is still not really apologizing. He's saying what everyone has done to him. And he basically said while Sheena is boo-hooing over their friendship and trying to get Ariana and Katie to understand where she's coming from, which I don't know why the fuck Ariana would give a fuck where she's coming from, because I sure wouldn't. Wrong bitch. Um, Brock is confronting Sandoval about rumors. And I know that y'all saw this. And I made a meme about it, but it was before this rumor even surfaced. I was just like, Sheena, you better check Brock's phone. That was just me being funny, but I had nothing to do with this rumor. Um, Brock checks Sandoval and says specifically, something came from your camp, basically saying that Raquel and me were messing around, and we reached out to your people, and it was not, well, the people who published the rumor, and they said that it came straight from Sandoval's camp. The thing that's suspicious about this is that Sandoval is no longer with that same publicist. So it looks like they are guilty for coming up with that rumor. And they say that his camp came out with that to get the heat off of Sandoval in order to make it look like,
Mm.
it wasn't just Ariana and Tom and Sandoval. It was also Brock had something to do with it. And, so Brock was upset about that. And, that was very interesting. What do you think? Do you
I
think
want to
that
know,
Sandoval put that out?
do you think that Brock and Raquel had a thing? They slept together?
I don't think that they slept together. I can honestly say that I don't think that they slept together.
Yeah.
Do you?
I don't know. At this point, it's like they surprise me every year because I would not have thought that Sandoval and Raquel would have been hooking up. Like, I didn't see
A
that.
very good point.
So it's like, Schwartz was distracting me with that whole kiss thing. So I'm like, oh, it's Schwartz. It's
Mm-hmm.
Schwartz. I was 100% convinced. But
Mm-hmm.
now it's like, who do I believe?
Could be
Is
anybody, huh?
Brock a trustworthy person? I have to also ask that.
Well, okay, so let's just get into before we end this. Sheena's other thing was not only has Sandoval been there for her from the get go, but during the pandemic, she was struggling financially. And she remembers his friendship in that time that she woke up to a couple $1,000s via PayPal from Sandoval because he knew that she was struggling during the pandemic while she was pregnant because her podcast had gotten canceled. I don't think they were filming. The checks were drying up. I don't know how, because that was what, 9 seasons in, I believe, 8 seasons in, and a podcast. So she's terrible at managing money. But I'm wondering, Aaron, why do you think that she was so broke being a married woman?
The air fryer. The air fryer. She probably brought like 4 or 5 air fryers.
Because
Because
they
that's
were
what I
hot
would
at
do.
that point.
If I had money, I would buy like 5 or 6 air fryers and just put different things in at the same time. And like
You
cook
know,
everything in 20 minutes.
they have a stove that air fries. So she probably
Yeah.
got one of those smart stoves and had a tabletop air fryer and then the smart stove air fryer.
I believe that's what it is. And she probably had to buy a new table too. Because wasn't Raquel fucking and sucking all over her kitchen table and all
Not
over her
during the
baby chair?
pandemic.
Oh,
Not during the pandemic. You love to bring. She was at one point, yes, but not during the
shit.
pandemic.
Oh.
No, I think that it was weird for her to say how broke she was because at that point, uh, Brock should have had his gym probably just shut down. But it's like, what are you doing? It's just like even on here, what are you doing? Brock is on every episode, and he's always with her. What the hell are you doing? And she is so obsessed with saying that, Brock, like, I don't want to leave my baby. And it's like, I understand that because as a mother, you know, it would probably stress me out to leave my young child with someone other than my mama too. But she has to understand that Brock doesn't feel the same way because he already got 2 kids that he don't take care of.
I also want Sheena to find a better hobby, like a better source of income sometimes, because I feel like remixing Good as Gold with Screamo,
You
is
didn't like
that
it?
what's really gonna, you know,
Well, I think she found her income. Scandival gave her the biggest platform. Shenanigans,
right.
they're making money to the point where she has another house now. So, well, she has an apartment and a house now. So I think that,
But that's
she's making
also,
that good
why do
money.
you have that? What is the need for that? It's you, it's your baby, it's this man. Who the hell else is living in your house? Is it her sister that she keeps trying to?
Soft launch again.
Yeah, it's like we don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't know why she keeps doing this. Every other episode, she's like, "Yeah, and me and my sister are gonna come to the pool," and you see her sister coming out in the background, and I'm like, "Fuck."
Like we fucking know. We know her. Damn. Okay,
Yeah.
the other thing that happens is, Lala and Sandoval get into it, yeah. And basically Lala confronts him for being a hypocrite because how could he hide a whole, relationship affair with a co-star while telling people that Lala doesn't show her real life when he wasn't showing his real life. What you think about that?
That's funny as hell.
Funny?
You know what?
Who's funnier on
If
this one?
Sandoval didn't do that shit that he pulled a few weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
me and him could really kiki about this.
Because y'all both liars
But the fact that you did
or
that shit,
jokers.
I can't rock with you for it. So,
No, but
see,
that's, everything
yeah,
bullshit aside, you think that that's funny.
yeah. I
Because
mean,
Sandoval
yeah,
was Santa, even when
because
she
he's like,
can,
fuck my shit. You're not showing your life. Nobody knows about what's going on with me. And then, like, he was really putting pieces in order too. Like with the whole Brock, once you think about it though, with the whole
Mhm.
Brock thing that he put out with his camp, then with the Schwartz thing, Schwartz kissing Raquel.
Mhm.
So you would never think. He had us all like, Tom
Yeah,
Sandoval is doing what? Tom Sandoval isn't doing shit. Him and Ariana are perfectly fine. And it's like they're not. He's
yeah.
cheating on her like real bad.
And that's what he kept saying is like, well, even when he because they got heated, obviously, but then they solved it and they hugged. But when they were arguing, he was like, "Well, he kept saying my 7 month affair, my 7 month affair." He's like, "You hid stuff for us for a year," so he was still deflecting. I don't understand why everybody keeps saying that he just needs to apologize, apologize, apologize. This nigga does not want to apologize. He don't, because he don't think he did nothing
And he
wrong.
does not
Get
want to
over it.
take ownership for anything. Like he's like, but you, and some of them, touche. Like
Mhm.
with James Kennedy, touche. Because I felt like how I felt. You used that man's condoms and you did what you did, so fair game, whatever, you know. But when it comes to like other stuff like Lala, well, you know,
Well, that's the show, guys. Before Aaron starts to get too agreeable,
yeah.
we will be back for the pop culture episode. Please let us know what you thought about the Gertie interview, and let us know whose side you're on when it came to the Tom Sandoval and Lala debate.
Please.
Over here we don't fuck with him at all. But let's just pretend that we were coming from a clean slate. Did he have a point, kinda, or is all right? Let us know in the comments. Give us 5-star ratings and reviews. Subscribe to our Patreon. We love you. Bye.
Bye, y'all.